The snow has finally blanketed 2 English acres, and while it's beautiful, it doesn't slow the work. Each morning begins with bundling up and stepping out into the cold to care for the animals. The air is crisp, the snow crunches under my boots, and the chickens are eager to greet me despite the frost. I'm grateful for modern conveniences like heated waterers that make mornings like this a little easier. The goats, on the other hand, are still unsure about the snow. They peek their heads out of their barn, reluctant to step into the cold. I didn't realize when we got them just how beautiful their soft, thick winter coats would grow. It's like they're wearing nature's version of a wool sweater. Taking on this life has been such a learning curve, but it's taught me so much. It's warm in here. I don't want to come out either. There's something grounding about this rhythm of life. It's a commitment, one that doesn't allow for much flexibility. Vacations, date nights, even Christmas traditions require extra planning because the animals always come first. I knew this in theory before starting our farm, but living it is a different story. And yet, despite the demands, this life gives so much in return. Some days bring unexpected challenges, like the other day when one of our chickens needed a little extra attention. I found her lying outside the coop, unable to walk. But after a little TLC, she's on the mend, and I'm expecting a full recovery. Oh, baby. Hi. After the animals are settled, it's time to warm up the house with something sweet. On a cold day like this, nothing beats the smell of sourdough chocolate chip cookies baking in the oven. I've been experimenting with sourdough lately, and as a result, I've built up quite a bit of discard. Today I'm using some of it to make these cookies. They're made with brown butter, which adds a rich, nutty flavor that makes them extra special. I'm going to share the recipe below so that you can try them too. Baking from scratch is a big part of my life. There's something special about starting with the simplest of ingredients and turning them into something delicious. But learning sourdough has been anything but simple. It's a journey filled with trial and error, patience, and honestly, more than a few kitchen disasters. The learning curve is steep, but every loaf and every batch of cookies brings me closer to understanding. It's a process that teaches you to slow down, pay attention, read it again, and truly appreciate the craft of making something with your own hands. There's a magic in that, a connection to tradition and the generations before us who baked with the same care and intention. Now that the cookie dough is chilling in the fridge, it's time to head back outside to check on the animals. If the goats are running low on hay, I want to make sure to keep them topped off. Out here in the country, high predator pressure keeps us vigilant. While I worry more about the chickens, I still like to check on the goats every couple of hours to ensure that they have plenty of fresh water and hay to keep them comfortable throughout the day. I also need to gather eggs from the chickens, who of course have decided that the nesting boxes aren't good enough today, and they're going to lay their eggs in the pine shavings on the floor. Why can't you use the laying boxes? We got an egg over here. I also noticed something odd, mysterious blood on the hay and tiny bloody chicken prints scattered across the barn floor. Yet after checking on everybody, I couldn't find a single injury. I suppose it'll have to remain a mystery. Life on the farm is anything but predictable, but that's part of its charm. It keeps you on your toes, with each day writing its own story. And as someone who thrives on routine, starting our homesteading journey has pushed me far outside of my comfort zone because it's a constant balancing act. It's one that requires putting the animals and the garden first, always ahead of vacations, plans, or even a quiet evening.
Get down. You too, Rafi. Go on.
This year has been especially hard. Between illness and the daily demands of farm life, I've struggled to find the energy to embrace the Christmas season. I've also been down with mono for a few weeks and I've had no energy. For a while, I wasn't even sure I'd decorate. But this week, we decided to put up some Christmas lights. They are always so pretty, especially against the snow at night. We started the tradition of getting a real Christmas tree 5 years ago, and it's something I look forward to each year. There's nothing quite like the charm of a real tree, the fresh pine scent, the imperfect branches, and the way it fills the house with the magic of the season.
Lift it up. Go on its side. Just fits.
When it comes to decorating, I like to keep things really simple. I'm not a pro at decorating, but I prefer a minimal approach. Rather than buying decorations from a big box store, I'd rather hunt for unique finds at the antique store or make things myself. This year I decided to make a garland for the mantle. I love the look of real greenery, but buying a pre-made garland, it was out of the question. It's just too expensive this year. Thankfully, making one is really simple and cost-effective. First, I measured the mantle and decided I needed about 9 feet of garland. Then I went out to gather clippings from cedar trees, pine trees, and white pine from around my property. To assemble it, I took groupings of 3 branches and tied them together with wire. It's a really straightforward process, and I'll link the video that inspired me in case you want to give it a try too. I want to also mention that I'm not a crafty person, so I think that anybody can create this. I probably should have waited for Mike to get home before I tried putting the garland up. It turned into a bit of a mess. I even had to take it down and flip it because I'd hung it up backwards. But in the end, with a few lights and some simple decorations, it came together beautifully. Slowly but surely, it's beginning to feel like Christmas is on its way. There's something magical about traditions. Decorating the tree, baking cookies with my mom, watching the soft glow of lights fill the house. It takes me back to a time when life felt slower and simpler. As we string the lights and hang each ornament, memories surface with every little detail. The ornaments tell a story, some new, some passed down through generations. They hold laughter, love, and moments frozen in time.
I'm not gonna hear you. It's just gonna be
Making cookies with my mom is another tradition that I hold close to my heart. The kitchen fills with warmth, and the comforting smell of sugar and vanilla, it wraps around us like a hug. These are the moments that turn a house into a home, the kind of memories that linger long after the season has passed. My grandmother's sugar cookie recipe has been a treasure in our family, shared and baked with love for generations. I've made these cookies with my children, my grandmother, friends, and family. I'll leave the link to the recipe below so you can share this sweet tradition too. When I step back and I look at our Christmas tree, at the mantle garland, at the decorations carefully placed around the house, I'm reminded of how special these moments are. It's not about perfection or grandeur. It's about the quiet joy of creating a space where love lives, where family gathers, and where memories are made. Christmas is about so much more than the lights and ornaments. It's about the greatest gift we've ever been given, the birth of Jesus Christ. It's a time to reflect on the hope and love He brought into the world and the grace that sustains us through even the hardest seasons. As the snow falls softly outside and the glow of the tree lights warm the room, I can't help but feel grateful. I'm grateful for this farm, this life, and these little moments that make it all worth it. Merry Christmas from our family to yours.